All right, folks, good morning. Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about meditation, a little bit of the what, the why, the how. If I'm being frank with you, a little riled up, a little frustrated with work and life and stuff. So, what a better time to talk about meditation. So, let's get rocking and rolling. Enjoy the show. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Terror Morning Show. Let me knock this off my screen. Good morning, where we help entrepreneurs become the absolute best version of themselves. As you can tell, I'm a little frustrated and riled up. I couldn't even remember. I just lost my train of thought on my intro. I just blanked on it. I don't think I've ever blanked on the beginning of it. Anyway, I'm behind on a bunch of stuff and I'm all riled up. So I figured today would be a great day to do some meditation work, talk about a little of the what, the why, and the how. And it turns out just because you meditate, I meditate pretty frequently, and it doesn't just get the problems out of your life. And especially if you're not doing it right. For a long time, I was just kind of doing a daydreaming exercise and sitting there and doing nothing. And that's not necessarily what the benefit's for. So to kind of go over a few banners, we're going to knock out of like some meditational form, some beyond what meditation is, beyond just sitting in a chair, like what it is and what it isn't, and answering some questions like that we have on the board, and can we control our own thoughts? And then I'm just going to go over a few of my favorite analogies. Okay, so what is meditation, what it is, and what it is not? I think we should start here. All right, folks, I'm getting some of my analogies up for coming up in the show. How's everyone doing this morning? It's where I'm living in is a total snowstorm. It's a total snowstorm going out. I do love watching the snowfall, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't feeling behind and a little angry and frustrated just with work and stuff. I've been working my butt off and trying to get more sales in, and this whole idea of not being enough is eating me alive. And I think we really need to continue to take the time to pause and reflect, because it's so easy to believe this, like life's like a movie, just like a little boy or a little girl. They believe that the movie is real. And I believe that we can be in that same state of mind, that our suffering is real. And the more that we lean into this belief that we are in pain, that we are not enough, that whatever the false narrative, limiting belief, or story we're telling ourselves, the more true it is, the more, because there's no difference between the feeling of our imaginations and the real world. It's pretty, humans have this incredible ability to have powerful imagination, which can be good, but we don't really talk about how, for the most part, it's pretty bad. And the imagination is what's actually causing the suffering, because we're not meant to be happy, right? We're meant to survive. Our goal in life is to help, or at least in my image from a lot of the books I read, it seems like our evolution has really put us to the point to where our job is for our kids to have kids. And then once after you're a grandparent, your time's kind of up. But it can be more complex than that, and thanks to the prefrontal cortex and so much more that we've continued to evolve. But I was stalling a little bit, but we need to get into meditation of what is and what it is not. Okay. And so we'll be referencing a lot Dan Millman's book. Dan Millman, Everyday Enlightenment, author of Way of the Peaceful Warrior, The 12 Gateways to Personal Wealth. I've really enjoyed this book. It's very basic, very straightforward, easy to follow. I've really enjoyed it. Highly, highly recommend. So kind of just changing over here my side monitor real quick. But yeah, this book is Everyday Enlightenment from Dan Millman. So what is meditation and what it is not? So let's go over a few things. First, meditation is for deep rest and relaxation. and neurological fitness. Deep rest and relaxation and neurological fitness. So I like to use this tool as just a way to relax. Like this morning, a little riled up, slept in, didn't have my notes ready. I have a bunch of things I need to do immediately afterwards. And so deep rest, if you're looking for just to rest in the moment, to relax in the moment and not be so riled up, meditation, that will be very helpful for you. Additionally, I like to think of meditation as the push-ups of the mind. The push-ups of the mind. Do you need to do push-ups to have a strong body? Do you need to lift weights to have a strong body? Do you need to exercise, calisthenics, yoga, whatever it is your thing that you like to do you believe you need to do that to be fit? It is no different with the mind, and it's easy to get caught up, riled up, over here, back and forth, getting caught in the imaginary stories, narratives, and limiting beliefs that all get our mind all warped up like a tornado, because whether we like it or not, humans are crazy. We get warped up in the craziness of the human mind, the chaos, the monkey mind, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's great for neurological fitness. So meditation is a great way to get fit. We're, again, folks, if you're just now joining us, we're talking about what meditation is, what it is. Moments of stillness that balance a life of activity. So life moves very, very fast. Would you agree? Would you agree that the days go by faster as we get older, as our responsibilities add up, as our perspectives and our bodies age? Things go very fast. Lots of activity, lots to do, lots to want. Our desires continue to grow as we age, and it is easy to see how life speeds up. It's very, very fast, and technology is not going to slow that down anytime soon. So maybe it's just a moment of stillness and balance, moment in stillness that balance a life of activity. Next up is the practice of detachment, taming your mind. So we want to tame our mind in the practice of detachment. The practice of detachment. We do not need anything that is not already within us. We do not need. Need is a strong word. I need my cell phone. I need my laptop. I need my car. And when we need something, the second something goes wrong, because Buddha was right, everything is impermanent. Everything decays, everything dies, everything goes on to the next life, right? So if I need my car, if I need my certain clothes to feel validated, the second those get damaged, the second something happens, because what is inevitable? Things are going to break, things are going to rip, things are going to decay, things are going... This whole death principle is the only thing that's really coming for us all. So I'm a big believer in trying to detach. So if you're a hoarder or you have a lot of things, do those stories ever go well? Are they ever psychologically healthy? Usually not. Usually being attached to physical items outside of yourself, that's dependence. And we want to be independent, strong-willed, so we can help support not only ourselves, become the best version of ourselves, but also help other people do the same. Okay, keep moving on. So the practice of detachment, that is what meditation can do. Insight into the nature of subjective thought. So you're going to hear me say these three little things over and over again, because this is what, it's not that we have a wide range of thoughts. Usually it's the same damn thing over and over and over. And that's why you're going to hear me talk about limiting beliefs, false narratives, and bullshit stories. These are the things that run the mind of the monkey mind, that cause us to go crazy, cause us to act out of alignment with our values. If you haven't already done your values, make sure to go ask me for our values exercise. So insights into the nature of subjective thought. Okay. So what meditation is not? So meditation is not a special higher spiritual practice. Interesting. It is not a special higher spiritual practice, because I believe meditation goes beyond just sitting there in the chair. So we're going to talk a little bit about meditation going on beyond a little bit of sitting in the chair. Now you can do it anywhere, whether you're washing dishes, you're doing laundry. These are actually the times that you want to be doing it. So what meditation is not. So it's not a spiritual higher practice. It's not reserved or something that's not what makes a monk a monk. It's the ability to control attention. It's more of like a tool than this, like it is only designated to some higher spiritual practice. So I personally don't believe that I need to be sitting butt ass naked in the middle of Asia or Nepal or wherever and be able to find a higher state of living to feel peace and serenity in any given moment. Next is an elevated state of being set apart from everyday life. So it's not that you're completely leaving yourself or you're leaving this world, kind of on the same point. An exclusively Eastern, esoteric, mystical, or religious exercise. So this doesn't need to be tied to religion, although I do think prayer is a form of meditation, and I'm all for people praying. I think it's great. Anything that gets you to surrender to what is and be in the present moment as much as possible is a fantastic way to go about life. Whether you give that to the divine, you give that to God, you give that to spirit, whatever your flavor is. I believe that it's not exclusively to the East in some esoteric or mystical form of religious exercise. Okay, that is what meditation is not. So we talked about, maybe it got a little trippy. Maybe we should recap just a sec. So again, deep relaxation, good mental fitness, and our ability to control our attention and be in the present moment as much as possible. If you are in the present, if you're looking at the novelty and the depth of life, you cannot suffer. If you're really if your head is where your feet are at, and you were taking in the depth and the novelty of life, I don't believe you can suffer. When you completely surrender to what is, because there's so many things. Well, Tanner, what if I'm in pain? Or pain is pleasure, pleasure is pain. We can go down that rabbit hole. It's some confusing stuff, folks, but surrendering, there is no words to describe it, right? There is no words that will ever just do it justice. I want you to think of for a moment, I want you to think of the divine. I want you to think of God or spirit or whatever it is. I believe it is the most admirable feeling one can feel. So tell me how it feels, say if you're a parent, when you had your newborn child and you're holding the child. Can words possibly describe it? I want you to tell me about the tastiest, most delicious food that you've ever eaten. Will words possibly describe the flavor, the texture, the ambiance? No, words will never do it. So trying to put this stuff into words, it's more of a practice, and that's why they call it a practice, because it's never tamed, or your mind's never tamed or anything. We just continue to keep going and rock and rolling with it. Okay. So we're on to meditation beyond sitting in a chair. So I wanted to talk about form a little bit. So how they're like, okay, that's great, Tanner. You got me. I'm going to meditate more. I'm going to do a breathing exercise today. 10 breaths for me, folks. That's all I want. If you can intentionally take 10 deep breaths, 10 full exhales every hour on the hour, I promise you, your stress will alleviate. I've been measuring my blood pressure a lot lately, and it's literally gone down. Granted, I've also made some changes. I've reduced how much coffee I've drank, but just being relaxed. And I have a 3-question framework that'll help you relax in any moment. But let's talk about form for a second. We're talking about meditation form now. So I want you to sit and if you can't meditate right this second, say if you're driving a car, don't start meditating and closing your eyes. Please, God, don't do that. But if you want, you can always come back, and we're at the 15-minute mark, just for remembrance sake for the meditational form. So sit in a balanced, stable, comfortable posture with your spine straight and your shoulders relaxed. Sit in a balanced, stable, comfortable posture with your spine straight and your shoulders relaxed. I always really like to practice good posture when I meditate. It's improving my posture. Think of a bunch of blocks, or think of a bunch of books that are stacked up on top of each other. I don't have another book right next to me, or else I grabbed one. So think of a bunch of books that are stacked on top of each other. And when they're like all like out of sorts, one's sticking out this way, one's sticking out this way, one's up, one's down. What's the strength of the structure? The strength of the structure. The strength of the structure is diminished compared to if all books were perfectly and the blocks were perfectly stacked up. Think of that as your back. So we want your back to be supported. We want your back to be strong. A strong, healthy posture creates a strong, healthy body. Strong, healthy body makes it a lot easier to control and tame the mind. Okay, so we have posture. So good posture, kind of pretend that someone's like pulling on a string on the top of your head. Next up, we want to keep your eyes closed or half open. I've never done my eyes half open personally. I always just close my eyes. I find it a lot more relaxing and comfortable. So next step is to close your eyes. Next one is that I haven't done this until recently when I was reading this book, and then one of my other coaches was telling me about it. But keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Keep the tongue on the roof of your mouth. So you got a little string that's kind of like pulling you up. Spine's nice and straight. Shoulders back and relaxed. Deep breath. And as soon as you exhale, put your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You don't need to apply pressure, but just consciously make sure that your tongue is to the roof of your mouth. It kind of just helps with like chin and head placement more so. That's the benefit I'm getting out of it. But okay. So now you want to relax and breathe with your belly. You want to relax and breathe with your belly. The diaphragm and the belly need to be engaged. Most anxiety is actually just caused from shallow chest breathing. Go figure, right? People just aren't breathing properly, and we're all getting riled up. Like me this morning, I was not breathing properly. I was scrambling around. I was running around. I forgot my charger. I had to get different notes. Yeah, yada, yada. You guys don't want to hear me complain. Either way, I was riled up. We all get riled up, correct? So we want to make sure that we're getting that deep, deep breathing. So you feel free. I like to put a hand. I need to save the spot real quick. Okay. So I like to put a hand on my heart and a hand on my belly, and just imagine me kind of sitting down and my body's in good posture. And I'm breathing and I'm feeling my belly completely lift out. You want to make sure that you're pressing all of the air out to really make sure that the diaphragm is getting engaged. So belly breathing, breathing deeply. It's really hard not to relax. I just felt like a nice rush and coating throughout my body of just doing a few breaths. And that's why I'm saying you just got to give me 10 today. Give me 10 breaths on this with this meditational form, and I promise you'll be feeling better. Okay. Next is choose an object of attention. So thoughts are going to start coming in, and we're going to talk about can we control our thoughts here in a second, but thoughts are going to start coming in. It's not a question if it's going to happen. And so now we want to be able to find where we want to place our direction. You can do this with sound. You can do really nice. Say if you love the beach, you love the ocean, you can play the ocean on your phone, on your computer, whatever. You can listen to the natural sounds of your home. You can listen to the birds outside. You can listen to the natural. It is really snowing outside, absolutely gorgeous. And you can kind of just go outside and kind of hear the weather commence, whatever. I find sound meditation to be the easiest to maintain focus on. So if you're starting, okay. So again, you can listen to your house, you can listen to birds, you can listen to the ocean, water lapping on your computer, you can listen to whatever you want. We just want it to be constant. And when you have a thought come in, cars on a highway, they come and they go. They come and they go. Clouds in the sky, they come and they go. They come and they go. The cars are going to keep coming. The clouds are going to keep coming. But we just maintain, we no judgment, we forgive, and we just let it come in and then we let it go out. So you're breathing. Right there, I can hear the wind chimes in our window a little bit, and I'm just kind of placing my focus on that. So you pick your object to focus, and the goal is to strengthen our ability to just keep coming back to what we want to give our attention to. Keep coming back to what we want to give our attention to. And that meditative practice, and that's why it goes beyond just sitting in a chair. So how does it go about? So how does it go beyond sitting in a chair? Because we can do this with anything. We can do this with washing the dishes. We can do this with cleaning the house. We can do this when we're talking to someone we love. We can do and this is where it should really be placed, is in day-to-day connection, day-to-day conversation, day-to-day efforts, whether you're trying to write your first book, you're trying to grow your business, you're trying to get fit and jack, focusing on the moment and being able to keep bringing our attention. That's meditation is just this refocus tool. They should just call it the refocus tool. Just boop, I'm right back. I'm drifting off. My monkey mind's going crazy. Boom, I'm right back. And we just keep doing that. That's why smartphones are driving people's anxieties and stuff like that crazy, because they're literally built to just warp and manhandle the crap out of your attention. So, okay. Then, beyond the chair. The last part for the meditational form I wanted to talk about is there are different and equally valid views on how long to sit. Some say as long as you are interested in sitting, others say define a definite time. Perhaps setting a timer with a bell, you may wish to set a minimum time, such as 10 or 20 minutes, or start simply with 3 to 5 minutes and work up from there. Experiment as you would for any other practice. Just like anything else, if you're not doing it, if you can't even do 10 or you're choosing to, if you're choosing to not meditate, even though it's the push-ups and it keeps our mind fit, we can't expect ourselves to not be crazy if we don't do it, yada, yada. I like to start small, 10 breaths. If you just right now, if you just kind of paused it or muted it and you just did healthy posture, back nice and straight, shoulders down and relaxed, tongue on the roof of your mouth, pretend someone's kind of pulling a string. Just take 10 nice, easy breaths. Start with that. And if you enjoy it and you like the feeling, I always like to ask the question right after I'm done, how do I feel? Good. If so, I'm probably coming back to the well for some more water. But all right. Now we're going to touch on, before we get into my favorite analogies for meditation and we knock out these questions on here, I want to address, can we control our own thoughts? I would say hell no. So why do we let them control our lives? Survival, right? That makes sense. Makes more sense than anything else I've come up with. We're not wired to be happy. We're wired to survive. We're wired to have kids and see our kids have kids. We're not wired to just feel good all the time, especially when marketing companies and billion-dollar tech companies are just pouring down our throats. You deserve to be happy all the time. It's not true. In the same vein, you see the commercial of like, yeah, I deserve happiness. And then, but if we were to sit down, do you think life is suffering? I'd say, yeah, hell yeah, it is. People get cancer, people die, like the bodies decay. Like there's a lot of rough stuff going on, but it's also so beautiful. Like I can push myself. I can feel like my legs are going to explode and I'm hiking to the top of a 14er with like my brother and having a very special moment. Or I can be like I'm jumping in the river here doing cold water therapy, and it literally feels like just so brutal, cold water exposure. But then when I'm done, I feel like so resilient and strong and powerful. Like life's weird, man. And the thoughts that come in, I guess I don't really know other better analogies than for the thoughts anyway, are so thinking of the clouds, what can you control the weather? That's about how much in that book he talks about. I mean, you can't control the weather, you can't control your thoughts. Like they're going to come on. And the goal is to just surrender to what is. So next time you have a limiting belief or thought, I just had a bunch of them come in this morning. You're behind, you're not selling enough, you're broke, you're not doing this, and just all of this chatter that's just tearing me down, just tearing me down. And that's just that. None of those are true. And that's where I would need you surrender to what is, and you would ask, are those thoughts true? And they're usually not. They're usually not. So whether we can control the weather, we have the cars on the highway. I'd like to think of a few more analogies for taming the mind that just I back pocket these. I like analogies. I think they're fun. But so we talked about thoughts like the weather. Do you know those guards at Buckingham Palace? So that's, where Queen Elizabeth was living. I don't know who lives there now. Anyway, it's in England. And Buckingham Palace, there are these guards with these big funny hats. And then there's always these little kids that are trying to distract them and get their attention and say, hey, look at me, I'm doing this. And that's kind of like what our mind's doing. We're trying to stand attentively, and we can't control the kids who are coming up while we're on our work shift, and they're distracting us and they're trying to grab our attention. But the best we can do is build resilience and be able to focus on what it is that we want to focus on. Is that fair? No, but life's not fair. Okay. Next up is the monkey mind. You can picture a monkey. This is really big in Eastern philosophy, but just the monkey jumping on the bed, running around, going chaotic. This is part of why I believe humans are insane. The monkey mind inside of us. So thinking of our mind like a monkey and trying to get it to calm down is very difficult. Very difficult. Versus, I don't think the object is to calm it down versus to just be with it. Okay. Next, meditation sweeps the leaves off the sidewalk. Meditation sweeps the leaves off the sidewalk. So thinking of as the seasons change, the leaves fall and it makes a bit of a mess. Our thoughts come in, and some of them we can either see it as, oh, my sidewalk looks terrible. It looks awful. People are judging me. It looks like crap. Go figure. I can never take care of anything. We get into this spiral loop of I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. When that's not true, when we know that we would feel better if we just sweep the leaves off. And that's what meditation is for me, is it's just sweeping. It's doing the work that feels good, that cleans the house of the mind, that cleans things up. So meditation sweeps the leaves off the sidewalk. Next up here I had written down, meditation is like exercise for the mind. We talked about that. So meditation is just push-ups for the mind. If you want to be fit, you got to do your push-ups. And meditation is no different. I'm not surprised that I was flustered and frustrated this morning because I woke up late. I didn't take the time to take a cold shower. I didn't take the time to do my workout routine. I didn't take the time to calm myself and relax. So narratives are movies, and this is the last one I like. So narratives are movies with kids. The goal is to enjoy giving attention to the present moment. So narratives, these false narratives, limiting beliefs, and bullshit stories, right, that we've been talking a lot about this morning. These are these are the movies that are going on in our mind. They're not real. It's just how real are you making them? And I believe the ultimate goal is to just enjoy giving attention to whatever's in front of you. That's my goal in life, is I just want to give as much attention as possible to what is in front of me, to what I love, to what I enjoy. So before we cut out of here, you can use this framework, the 3-question framework, anytime you're feeling riled up. I was using it. I'm going to be doing a meditation right after this, and you feel free to stick around and you can join me. I know we're over on time, folks. I just love meditation, and I know it's just a perfect day for it because I was a little riled up myself. So first question is, you ask yourself, am I breathing? Am I breathing? And I'm talking like belly breathing, good posture. Get your posture right. Start breathing with your gut. Feel it out. Put a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly, and take a couple intentional breaths. Just a couple. Just give me a couple. So we want to be able to say yes to, am I breathing? Next up, I ask, am I relaxed? You can be relaxed in any situation, any moment, whether you're giving a speech, you're about to perform in sports. Let me change this up a little quick, this angle, so you guys can see a little better. Whether you're playing sports, you're on a sales call, whatever, do anything as relaxed as possible. Do anything as relaxed as possible. If you're working with your hands today, if you're cleaning the house, whatever you're doing, ask yourself, am I relaxed? Am I relaxed? Just trying to bring it down. So once we breathe, take a couple intentional breaths, I promise you're going to start feeling a little bit relaxed. And so that feeds into it. So once we can say yes to this too. So we say yes to, am I breathing? We say yes to, am I relaxed? But then the last one is, am I acting with grace? Am I acting with grace? Am I being graceful with my movements? Am I being graceful with my posture? Am I being graceful when I'm talking to somebody I love and care about? Am I being graceful in this present moment? And I promise you, if you can say yes to these 3 things, you will calm down. You won't be nearly as riled up. I already feel a lot better just taking action on this and kind of explaining and sharing and doing myself. But this stuff works, man. It's I get it, a lot of breathing meditation, and that can be woo-woo sometimes, but it's not some Eastern philosophy practice. It's not like designated only to the monks. It's not. It is what we make it, right? It is whatever movie picture we paint. I know that every time I've gone to this 3-question framework, am I breathing? Am I relaxed? Am I being acting with grace in this moment? If I can answer 3 to all those, I'm probably doing pretty good. So cheers to that. Try this out. Hopefully it's helpful to you as well. I know it's really easy to get riled up out here nowadays. Stuff just moves so fast. So before we head out of here, let's take one more deep breath. Wonderful. Already feel a lot better. In case you guys needed to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Take a deep breath, meditate, breathe. If you know someone who could benefit from this video, who's a little riled up, wants to relax, continue taking action towards their number 1 goal and achieve the life and live up to their full potential, please share it with them. It means the world to me on any social media platform. Suits you. We just want the content to get to them. But love you all. I will be back here live with another Monday, another show, January 10th, 8 a.m. live. So be on the lookout for that, folks. It's going to be a good one. Check you later. Peace out, friends. Love y'all. See you on the next episode. Peace.